Welcome back to another edition of Dogging It. A little just impromptu action. Mike, I heard you were just live. I didn't get to watch it, man. You're all over the
Well, you know
place.
what? You jump on it when you can. Someone made fun of me for having it live when the announcement came out, 7 hours ago. But listen, you want to get up at 5 a.m. and break news to a bunch of people who are still asleep? Have at it.
I was one eye open, and I couldn't believe that they were announcing it. I had seen that they were. I'd seen on what was it? Their podcast, Off the Rail, I think it was, right. And
Yeah.
I happened to check it out late last night or early this morning, and I saw where they said they were going to be telling the captains at noon, and I'm like, that's 5 a.m. So, um, but the news is finally out. In case you guys haven't heard, Jeremy Jones is the captain of Team USA. We also got Ralph Eckert as announced as the captain of Team Europe, which I want to bring Ralph in right now. He's joining us via Fulda, Germany. Ralph, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm glad to have you on the show, and welcome.
Thank you for having me. So I'm curious about your questions.
Well, we've been known to bring the heat a little bit from time to time, but we'll take
well,
it easy since this is our first interview. You know?
well, Ralph will be able to handle the heat, and he knows he's going to have to handle the heat if he's captain for Team Europe because there's going to be a lot of heat coming his way. Big expectations.
Right.
First of all, congratulations, Ralph, and let's talk about those expectations. Team Europe, a dominating team in recent years, and now you take over the helm. Do you feel any pressure, more pressure, as the heavy favorite than you might as the underdog?
No, not so much pressure. I got a pretty good team, right?
Yeah, probably not
Even
bad.
though it's not completed yet, right?
Yeah.
I feel pretty secure with this team. So, but I wouldn't hesitate to go also for Team America, But
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
What was the process like, Ralph? Ending up in this spot, did you reach out to Matchroom? Did they reach out to you to see if you had interest? What were those conversations like?
They reached out to me after the European Championship, and yeah, so we kept contact, and we made final decisions here at the venue in Fulda.
Was that something that was on your radar, like as far as your career, Ralph, or was it kind of like, well, here's an opportunity, and I think I can make the best of it?
Oh, it was certainly on my wishing list, but there was no like an official way to send in some
Right.
informations and ask for the job or anything like that. So I was just staying in patience and wait if an opportunity will come or not. And
Right.
sooner or later, I was still hoping because I got quite some experience, right, from different countries and
Of
everything.
course.
So I thought sooner or later, or maybe already, they're thinking about me. And if it's coming, it's fine. If not, then I'm fine to watch as well.
Yeah. Did when they contacted you, were they still considering other people, or did you get the feeling that it was your job if the interviews went well?
Mm, I guess in the beginning, right from the beginning, it was like 50-50, and after a week or so it was going to feel like things are going my way.
Where
What
were
did
you
it,
at
Because
when
I'm
you
in a
got the
new
call?
phase.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Where were you at when you got the call, Ralph?
I was at my desk at home writing on a book, and then I got a message, would you be open to talk to me about the Mosconi Cup? And I almost dropped my phone.
That's Well, you're going to end up with a pretty strong team. You have one member announced so far in Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. I think the second member or the second automatic will be announced after the U.S. Open. What's your year usually like, Ralph, when it comes to watching players, watching them in form, watching matchroom events? How frequent or how often are you paying attention to matches, tournaments, things like that, just in your normal life?
Okay, normally I keep track on the results because I'm pretty good connected on social media, so I
Right.
usually get all the news. And if anything specific happened, then I would like to search for it and take a closer look on YouTube. But normally, because my daily life is full with billiards, so I'm not doing also a lot of, let's say, on YouTube in the evening, also watching all the matches,
Yeah, right.
So I select only a few. That's what I usually do.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you're not going to let us know some of the players who are on your short list of potential wild card choices. Is it too soon for that already?
Well, too soon. I don't have a short list, nothing like that. Like I already said earlier, it is. I have to wait for all the three confirmed spots because then I know which is the missing part in the team, who fits best in this team, who interacts the best with the other three players, right? And so it don't not necessarily has to be the next one in the ranking. Otherwise, it wouldn't be needed that I have to be a free pick, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I have to find the best compilation to that team, right?
Yeah.
What do you got,
What
Mike?
the well, what when you think about the team and you think about your job, um, what's going to be the most important thing that you bring to this team?
Well, to their opponents the whole year on, right? And at for one
Right.
week a year, they should team up with the same goal, with the same mission, the same dedication. So I try to keep an atmosphere where they feel familiar and well. They interact like friends. I need to get their not confirmation, their confirmation to stay as a team together,
Yeah.
and
Right.
one should stand there and help for the other one, you know, and that's the main task, basically, right?
Right. Right.
And to be ready if someone is in doesn't feel so well, which is usually not that often the case with those professionals, right? But then I should be ready to give him some advices how he can feel better after a while, right? If he feels down, he should return to the center court after a while. I mean, I got some background in sports psychology, so he should come back to the arena and feeling like King Kong.
Yeah.
What was the welcome like from some of the players out there in Fulda, Ralph, as you were announced as the European Mosconi Cup captain?
The most, I mean, all the reactions I saw were very positive, very positive. I was overwhelmed with those reactions. So I'm very thankful for this warm welcome from
Es-
everybody.
Especially from the players who want to be on the team.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a lot of hugs from people calling you
Yeah.
their best friend.
Yeah, probably my Facebook and Instagram is going up now with a lot of new friends, right?
Yeah, a lot of new friends, I'm sure.
What's your schedule going to be like, Ralph, over the coming months as you have these new roles and responsibility within the Matchroom umbrella? Are you going to be at the U.S. Open? Are you going to travel to some of the Asian events? What's the future looking like for you in the next coming months?
I haven't booked flights yet, but I will because I'm planning to go to the US Open and also the International Open might be now
Oh, great.
interesting. And I'm not sure about the Asian Open, but if this is a decision maker, I wouldn't hesitate to go there as well.
When you do pick your team, when the three are named and then you pick your two wild cards, what do you imagine is going to be your process between that point and the first day of the Mosconi Cup? Will you try to get together with the team on Zoom meetings? Will you try to get together with them in person? What kind of preliminary things will you do with the whole team leading up to the first week of December?
Well, that's the reason why I want to attend, especially to those events. So I want to get in touch with the especially confirmed players and getting also their opinion. Who they are feeling well with. If I throw some names in, if they throw some names in, I starting it as a team. So I will make final decision, yes, but I want to talk with them as well, and I want to get I want to get in contact better with them. I know all of them since many years, but yeah, I have to go now. I want to know what are their daily worries. Is there or no worries at all? They're pretty independent, or anything I can help with. And so that's the process. And the first choice would be direct contact, of course. If it's not possible, of course, then we can do also an using like we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
We're doing like phone calls and this and
Right.
that. Yes,
Right.
I have to keep contact.
Yeah.
You're no matter who you select, you're going to go into December as a pretty decent sized favorite over the Americans, and there's a lot of expectations with that, to perform and to have success. How important is that trust amongst the team in order to get to that end goal of getting the W at the end of that event, Ralph?
Pardon me, say it again. What was the real
how
question?
how important is it to kind of get that trust amongst the players, like to believe in each other and to believe in you, that that trust is there, I can depend on each other, and we're going to get to that W at the end of the event? How important is trust?
That's important, and so I need to get their personal commitment, and that's why it's important to meet together personally to get their commitment. It should be almost like a ceremony, so that everyone is giving the promise to be there and stand behind every team member 100%, and everyone is convinced and everyone is confirming this.
Yeah. It's gonna be like a 5-person wedding.
Yeah, why not?
Will you avoid social media between now? Oh, here we
There
go.
she
You
is.
didn't do a thing, did you?
Nothing. Mike
Yeah,
might
you-
have, but
No.
no, we tried.
I
We
mentioned
tried.
his name. I mentioned his name.
Mike
I
mentioned
mentioned-
like 18 names. Don't say you
You're
mentioned his
right,
name.
You had
Yeah.
no idea.
I
We were
did. I
trying.
mention.
You
Did I
had
mention
no
Ralph's
idea.
name? Did
You
I
did.
mention Ralph's name? I did.
You did.
Because I've known Ralph a long time, and I know that he's a good fit for this. He's for people who don't know his resume, he was a great German player during the days of Oliver Ortmann and Thomas Engert, and then Ralph. Great straight pool player. Also became a world champion trick shot player because he's so talented with the cue. Author of 7 or 8 books, correct, Ralph? On the sport.
I'm working on the 9th, yeah.
And working on the 9th, and also a great instructor for many years. You were the national coach for Morocco, for Denmark, for Switzerland.
Man,
who am I
Mike, you're doing
missing?
your homework here, buddy.
For
I
Thailand,
know,
You
Ralph.
must have
for
got
Maldives, for
tipped off.
Singapore.
Singapore. Okay, so he's well acquainted with the process of teaching multiple players at one time and trying to develop a team. So yeah, I think it's a great pick. Very eloquent guy too. So yeah, good all around.
Oh, well, I'm
Emily-
glad you're happy, right?
Emily, before
I bet you
Emily's. Oh, go ahead,
Mike,
Mike.
sorry to interrupt, but Mike, you just listed that off like I just picked him off of the street and had no idea who he was.
I'll bet you didn't know half the things I just said.
I didn't. Lord knows I did.
No, of course you did. Yeah,
Emily,
no.
what was it about Ralph that made you select him as the captain of Team Europe? What was the ultimate decision?
It's different, which obviously I like a lot. And he seemed really up, and I think it was his first words were I'd be honoured. And I absolutely loved that. When he said that, my heart just went. I thought, yeah, this is exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Look, it's not silly money either, this stuff. Like there's big checks on the line, and this is an important decision, and we all discussed it in our team. And even though we didn't know Ralph, and I'd never properly met Ralph before, we briefly met at the US Open the first year. It just seemed like exactly like what you've just said, Mike. Totally, his resume. Oh my gosh, like. You don't even, you could read the first line and say, yeah, this guy should be in. But it's also, it brings something different to the TV show as well. And he's just such a respected individual within the industry. And so is Jeremy. And what a part, what a collection that is for the two captains, two very, respected people. And I just love that the live reaction at the front of the table just showed everything. There's a bit of light-hearted banter there. It wasn't all serious. It wasn't total fight talk, but they both have respect for one another. And then they have some light-hearted banter. So it just, I can't really explain it other than the fact that it just clicked. And I had a gut feeling straight away. As soon as I spoke to Ralph and I called him, I just knew. I knew as soon as I spoke to him on the phone, yeah, he's in.
Thank you.
But she still made you sweat, Ralph. She still made you sweat a little bit.
Where did the idea come from, Emily? You had not met him. You'd only met him briefly once, didn't know him very well. How did his name even pop into the equation?
I'm trying to think if I should give you the truth or whether.
Yes, you should.
Oh no, we need the truth for sure.
We're journalists. We'll fight for the truth.
In all honesty, we were on a flight, the team, and Carl was there as well, and we were all chatting about the European captain, and we were talking about the different people that had obviously not registered, but
thrown their hats into the ring.
And as Ralph said, he was approached by us, and we were all just talking about it and spoke about him. And I just did a bit of research. I looked up and just reached out to him, watched some of his videos, and because it's a TV show, we have to make sure that there's interviews, there's press conferences, there's things like that, and you have to be camera friendly. And did a bit of research, and we all really just loved the idea. And then basically, every time I thought about it, I'd loved it even more. And then as soon as I spoke to him, like I said, just knew straight away. And the team all really loved the idea. But it all came from a conversation on a plane journey with a lot of us as a team. And we just kind of talked about it. And as soon as I was on the plane and I sent the text message, and it obviously went through as soon as I landed. And it was kind of like that, really.
Yeah, nice. Very well spoke. Always a snappy dresser, so he's going to look good on the set. I know that.
Love it. And the interview was brilliant. So it's just, really, really pleased with it.
Without mentioning names
downstairs, because suddenly they can come up with, "Oh, Ralph, would you please show us some trick shots now?"
On the spot.
That would be real pressure.
Without mentioning names, how long was that list of candidates, Emily?
I think I said it to maybe Mike before, or I think it was Jim Telfer that was quizzing me about it. I sat in the audience. And he was so funny. He goes, "Oh, so obviously they're here." And I said, No. The captains fly in on Friday. And he was like, "Oh."
That was you tried to throw us off the set with that email, and I told Mike right away. I said that was the worst line ever. You didn't.
I smelled it a mile away. I didn't buy that for a minute. Yeah.
It was collectively there was 10 different candidates across USA and Europe, that like serious candidates, and it's great that people are throwing their hat in the ring. I think it's a really positive thing. I'd be really upset if people weren't reaching.
Right. Interesting. So I know that we're here to talk to Ralph, but
sorry.
No. So don't go away yet.
This is my office, so that's why.
Don't go away, because I want to know. Jeremy back for his 4th year. Was there much talk about anyone else?
No, I think that Jeremy has not had his chance to get the win, and I've seen so much behind the scenes of what he does with the team, and I think he is the glue that brings Team USA together. I think with the structure of the rankings, that's what needs to happen for Team USA, but it's not going to happen overnight. So it didn't feel right having anyone else other than JJ. To be fair, I want it to be as competitive as possible, and I trust JJ the most to do that.
I don't think you get many arguments from this side of the pond for sure.
No. But I'll leave you to Ralph.
Okay.
He's the star of the hour.
We'll bring you on again. We'll bring you on again soon, Emily. Trust me, the seat's gonna get hot.
Only when you've got like other stuff that you want to talk about and you want to
Oh,
stir
wait.
the
Oh,
pot.
we've got other stuff.
Always. It's always on
We've
deck.
got
Yeah.
other stuff. Cheers.
Thank you.
Ralph,
That
Ralph,
was a nice interruption, wasn't it?
always, always. It's never a dull moment with Emily. Ralph, what does that make you feel hearing that there was, roughly 5 or so other candidates in the mix, but you were strongly considered from the beginning? Like, how good does that make you feel to hear that?
It makes me feeling even better, But yeah, I also feel very good for Jeremy because I know him for so long, since over 30 years. I met him first at a tournament in Texas, and I don't even remember if I played him, but we had a long, nice little chat. I remember that. And since then, I always got a little separated, but he went on doing his career by winning the US Open, and I went on doing my career in Europe, becoming eventually #1 in Europe once, and all the other things. Yeah, so it's nice to have. I'm happy also for Jeremy.
Yeah, great.
Well, I don't really got a whole lot else, Mike. It was kind of a spur of the moment. I had my daughter injure herself right before we went live, but luckily she's all right. So it kind of threw me for a loop.
And Ralph has a train to catch back home this afternoon, so we'll let him get going. But thanks for sticking around and taking some time with us. Congratulations on the pick. We look forward to seeing you the first week of December over there in London. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the next coming Billiards Digest. I'm a fan.
And keep your Facebook Messenger on, Ralph, because you'll be getting some messages from us to come back on. I can't wait to speak with you some more.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Well, that was pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
What
he's a great guy. Like I said,
No, go ahead, Mike.
Great guy. Been around a long time. Very respected in the pool community by players and industry people. Like I said before, very well spoken. Good. Yeah, it's an interesting pick. It's good. We kind of caught most people off guard. We talked about it yesterday. I had a feeling that Jeremy would still be the USA coach, but Europe was definitely going to be different. We just had no idea. Didn't have a really good feel for who it might be. So this was an interesting pick, and we'll see how it turns out.
People got a lot of love for Jeremy here on this side, and
a lot of respect on that side.
Yeah, I agree. You never really hear anybody saying anything bad about him, to be honest with you, like within the industry, like we do with others, So, but you think there would have been some uproar or some pissing and moaning had they gone another direction on Team USA, maybe from the fans?
Yeah, I think for sure there would have been a lot more negative than positive, no matter who they would have given the job to. Because I think everybody has such respect for Jeremy, and they, you kind of look at the first 2 years that Jeremy was, captain.
Wasn't a fair shake, Mike.
It wasn't a fair shake. The first year was the COVID year. Nobody had played. They were playing in front of no crowd. It was just listless. Second year, they pulled the rug out from under Earl on the first day, and all of a sudden Jeremy's in there playing. So last year was really his first full good shake at it, and I thought he had the team ready. They barnstormed out at the beginning and just faded a little bit down the stretch. So and being overpowered talent-wise, that can happen. But I think he had them as ready as you can get a team, and now he's learned from that. So I look at this as really his year too.
There's a lot of positives to take out of Team USA. Like had they gotten steamrolled the last few years, then I would have said otherwise. But we were there. Right. We were there at the event. We saw how close it was. They were just a missed ball away by Sky from tying that thing up late in the event.
Yeah.
So I think they're knocking on the door. I think that it's going to be a different team, obviously, but I think that they're going to have the players that they are going to have, I think, are going to be a lot sharper. I think there's going to be some pressure on Ralph, but he seems to just be very cavalier, not a care in the world, and I like that. Keep it loose, keep it interesting, keep it friendly, I mean that in a great way, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's a very systematic. kind of guy. You could tell by the instructional books he writes and things like that. These aren't just breezy storytelling of gambling days. He's very dialed into
Shots
the
fired.
game. Well, they're just two different things. You wouldn't pick someone who did road stories books and say, okay, he's perfect for Team USA. So, but Ralph is kind of in that mold, and he's not. He's one of those guys who never gets too high or too low. He's always been very steady, very even, very thoughtful in what he says and how he says it. And I think he'll coach. I think he's probably coached that way as well for teams and individuals he's worked with. And I think he'll bring that to the team.
He's going to be under a lot of scrutiny, being in that spot. And I'm sure he's aware of it. Every decision is going to be, under a microscope, from players to lineups to, how he coaches during the event and so on. So he's obviously the right guy for the job if they picked him, because we all know how tough a cookie Emily is to go and win over, So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I'm looking forward to having him on and talking with him some more and kind of picking his brain for who's on his radar, So it's a good time, and I'm glad that they went outside of the norm. Jeremy, I love.
I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't just one of the former players. I'm glad that they went.
Like who?
Well, whether it was a Niels or a Darren or whatever, I mean, all who would have been good coaches, who've been on Mosconi before and are very, know the strategy of Mosconi Cup,
which is big.
I think it was a good move bringing in someone who's more of that, the guys who've worked the teams best into the right direction have been guys who have mostly that coaching background, right? Whether it's a Johan or an Alex and now a Ralph. JJ does a lot of teaching, a lot of instructing. He's very analytical on the game. So I like that approach as opposed to just a great player who knows how to rally the troops and do the scorecard, which would work out fine too. But
he better. I mean, if he's not already well versed in how important these lineups and things like that can be, he better get it. You better get it and pay attention to it, because how important those moves and decisions can be.
Yeah.
Going into day 2 and day 3. Seeing how smart of a guy he is, I'd imagine he's going to be leaning on some people between now and then.
Yeah, he'll lean on people. He'll lean on the players. I mean, a lot of these players are veteran players that are going to be on Team Europe. They know the system. They know times that maybe there was a mistake made, so they'll share that information with him. But he's going to make his own decisions. I mean, Ralph's at least that kind of guy for sure.
All right, Mike, it's 5-5, Wojciech and Anton. It's 4-3, Federer and Filler. I love seeing you, buddy, but not while there's great matchups going on. So I'll try to be on live tonight, you guys. Mike, I don't know if you'll be available, but if
I'll be off the grid tonight, I'm afraid. I'm gonna give everybody a break tonight. They've seen enough of me today already.
Go enjoy, my man. We appreciate all you guys for stopping by, even if it's for a few minutes, and we'll see you guys real soon.